It's now 5:30, and I want to call this meeting of the Paris City Council to order. We're going to lead off with the invocation by Gene Anderson, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Plata.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you first of all for each and every blessing, for we know that every good and perfect gift comes from you. We pray for our country, Lord, that you'd cause our leaders and our courts to do right in your sight. And we pray for our city council tonight as they do the city business, Father, that you'd guide and direct their every decision. We just thank you again, Father, for every blessing, and we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation in the citizens forum to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personal appeals, are not appropriate for citizens forum. So anyone wishing to speak before the citizens forum, please come up and sign the roster and introduce yourself.
I've already signed in.
Okay.
My name is Kenny Kamer from 1728 Maple Avenue. In the latter part of 2013, I sold some property to the Dollar General on the west side, and I had 2 rent houses on the back side of that, and I needed a lot to move those off onto. And the city happened to own a lot across the street from where I needed it, on the Maple Street side. So I requested to purchase that. It was agreed, and went through the regular process and the bidding process and all that. And one of the things I was required to do, was to get the land or lot resurveyed and platted. This old-timey neighborhood lot. I thought that was unusual, but I went ahead and did that and got Nelson surveyors involved, and they did that. And upon completion of that, they told me to go write 2 checks over to the city and go down and make sure that the back taxes had all been paid. I wrote the checks, but the back taxes hadn't been paid. The minimum bid on that property was $1,000. I paid $4,100 for it, and I was the only bidder. But call me crazy, but I assumed that the city would take care of the back taxes with the profits made from the sale. But I checked with the interim manager at the time, finance director. He said they couldn't do anything about it because the city was tax exempt. Went to the city attorney twice. First time he said he couldn't do anything about it. Second time he wouldn't return my call. After I had gotten a copy, after talking with Ms. Lancaster of the bid of proposals in the paper, to see whether or not it indicated that I would be responsible for the taxes, and it did not. But still, I haven't gotten anything resolved from this.
Mr. Cameron, I'm sorry, I've got to interrupt you. You've kind of exceeded the 2-minute limit
Okay.
a little bit, but we'll all, I guess, take this under advisement.
I'll say to put it on as an agenda item so that he can discuss it.
Okay,
Okay. In the future, we'll add that to the agenda then.
thank you.
Put it
Okay.
to the next meeting so that his problem is resolved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in the citizens forum? If not, I guess I will call that portion of the meeting closed and move forward. So now we move to the consent agenda item. Are there any items that any of the councilmen wish to pull off and discuss further or ask questions about at this time? If not, I'll take a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Dr. Hashmi makes the motion to approve, and Ms. Lancaster seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Moving on to the regular agenda, Janice, if you'll read item 12.
Consider and approve extension of the home repair loan program.
And I believe Mr. Godwin's going to address that.
Yes, very quickly, no new information since last time. Carl Cecil was here, I don't guess he is tonight. And we talked about having an additional meeting. Mr. Cecil talked to the other 3 banks. They all agreed that they do want to participate again for another year. It's been a very successful program. And so really the 2 things here, we just want to brag on those 4 banks. First Federal Guaranty Bond, Lamar National, and Liberty National. This is not something that just any bank in the world will do. And they volunteered. They're participating in helping folks take care of their homes and hopefully, save their homes long term. A really good creative program, and we really appreciate them participating in that. Would love to see somebody mention that in the newspaper. And then also just to ask the council's authorization to continue the program at least to the end of the calendar year.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made by Dr. Hashmi, seconded by Mr. Pickle. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Now we'll move on to item 13. Janice?
Receive a presentation about the wastewater treatment plant infrastructure.
Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, I'm here tonight to introduce you to Jeff Sober of Garver, USA. Back in September of 2013, we advertised for statements of qualifications for the project for the wastewater treatment plant, either construction of a new plant or complete rehabilitation of the existing plant that we have now. After extensive evaluation of the 3 firms that were evaluated, Garver was selected, and Mr. Jeff Sober is here tonight to give a presentation. So, Jeff?
Dr. Grossnickel, before we start the presentation, can we ask a few questions from the gentleman who has worked at the wastewater treatment plant before?
Sure. Which person would that be?
He's
Doug?
coming right up.
No, James Hinkle.
Okay, James Hinkle.
Mr. Hinkle,
James Hinkle,
how long have you worked at the current wastewater treatment plant?
23 years, sir.
And what is your feeling about it? Where do we stand with it?
In my honest opinion, and it is an opinion, within, I would say, the next 10 years or so, there will be catastrophic failure of a lot of the structures out
If
there.
you can please speak a little closer to the mic.
Within probably the next 10 years, there will be catastrophic failure of a lot of the structures out there. I'll give you, for instance, the orbital unit, which is the main biological treatment process housing. The gunite walls out there have inch cracks all the way through them in many places. The way we found these is we were cleaning the sand out of these structures with bobcats and shovels and stuff. Took about 2 weeks per orbital unit, and we inspected the orbital units, and the gunite is disintegrating, cracking, pulling apart, and things of this nature.
Having been worked there for that many years, you have a general idea of the city's wastewater collection systems, etc. we keep hearing upstream and downstream and west side and north side and east side. Do you think there is a need for another wastewater treatment plant, or do you think there is a need for just fixing this plant with a new plant or improvements to this plant?
Dr. Hashmi, I think you would need one centralized plant, and the reason being is because you would have additional operational cost beyond what you now have if you had two plants.
Is the current location of the plant a good location for the plant, or a different location would be a better choice?
It would be cheaper for the city to build on the current location.
No, that was not my question. Okay.
It would be more beneficial to have it closer to town, but you'd also, any odors where it's at now, you don't have any odor complaints. You don't have hardly any problems out of your neighbors. If you move it in close to town, it is a wastewater treatment plant. And the sewer coming in from town at times does stink. We do have problems in the collection system that causes hydrogen sulfide gas, causes a lot of odors here in town. I know that all of you council members probably know that we get complaints from the line that goes down beside Home Depot, down there behind Catfish King, or with the catfish place there in town.
Fish fry.
Fish fry, yeah. So, it being further out in town is probably the best thing for the city.
How much property is the current plant on?
It's right around 20 acres.
And is that the appropriate size for that, or does it require a bigger property or a smaller property?
It's 20 acres is big enough property to do that. To build a plant on, we would basically have to decommission part of the old plant, parts at a time, and rebuild on top of the same structure. It would save the city a lot of money as far as having to purchase land and stuff. And we could use part of the old plant there. There's part of it can be refurbished, but parts of it are not going to be able to be refurbished.
How much water goes out of the wastewater treatment plant a day?
Very close to 4 million gallons a day.
And what happens to that water currently?
It currently goes to Hicks Creek, which goes to Pine Creek, which goes to the Red River.
How clean is that water?
That water will meet drinking water standards according to the TCEQ.
Okay. What is your feeling about package plants?
They are fine when they're working, but when they're not, they're a major headache and cause a lot of problems.
So it would not be a wise thing to have a major plant at one spot and package plants at different areas?
No, sir, I don't believe so. Those package plants are fully automated, most of them, and the problem with that is it's like computers. By the time you get something and put it in, it's already outdated. And when you go to replace that equipment when it goes bad, then you have a problem because you've got to change everything up to meet the new type of equipment.
We have currently lift stations. I don't know exactly how many do we have now? 3? 19. Okay. Is it better to have, do the lift stations do a better job at working than a smaller package plant in a different location?
The lift stations don't actually treat anything. All they're doing is moving water.
No, what I mean to say is, since there are some technical issues which we have faced with lift stations.
To phase some of the lift stations out and put a plant closer to town.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Again, I would refer that to, you're going to have odor complaints if you put small plants in town.
Okay.
And you're going to have additional operating costs, additional personnel. These plants can't be left unattended and just let them go. They have to be attended, and that would require additional personnel.
Okay, thank you, that's it.
Okay, wait, may I ask a couple questions?
Yes, sir.
Right now, you say we have 4 million gallons a day coming out.
It's close to 4 million gallons. It's like 3.85.
What's the maximum number that we've handled?
Legally, our permitted flow is a maximum of 7.25 average. We can handle up to 10 million if we can get it to the plant, is the problem.
What have we handled in the past?
We have handled the highest flow I have ever seen at the plant in 23 years I have been there has been 12 million.
And when was that?
That was a surge flow. That was not a total flow.
In the past 5 years, how much, where's our usage gone?
It stayed pretty well the same. It varies during the seasonal weather. Of course, when it's like it is now with the collection system in town like it is, and the old clay tile lines and stuff hooked up to people's houses and stuff, when it rains, the flow skyrockets. When it's not raining, we get our average flow of around 4 million.
So with the closing of Sara Lee, it didn't impact it at all?
Very little whatsoever. It was very negligible. The biggest thing with Sara Lee was their BOD that they sent to us.
What is BOD?
Biological oxygen demand.
Okay.
Biochemical oxygen demand.
Where is, can you measure the amount of wastewater that you treat by area in the community? I mean, do you know if it comes more from the east side, the west side, the north side, the south side?
No, sir. That would be a question more suitably answered by the collection people. They would be able to tell you which lift stations get the most flow during rainy seasons and stuff.
Can you tell?
Councilman Pickle, we don't currently have flow meters at any of our lift station facilities, so no, we wouldn't be able to tell that.
Okay. What's your title at the wastewater treatment plant?
I'm the superintendent.
Okay, thank you.
I have one more question.
Okay.
Right now, you said we have it on 20 acres. Is there land around it to further the size or not?
It would have to be purchased if we do.
But is there available land surrounding the current wastewater treatment plant?
There is land around us. As far as it being available, that would be, between the city and the landowner.
Okay.
I have a question. I think somebody told me that y'all had, the city spent quite a bit of money improving that quite a few years ago. Is that true or not true?
They spent, what was it, 6 million?
That was
How much?
in the early 90s.
6 million.
6 million.
In the early 90s that was for a digestion system to take care of the sludge, to turn it to a Class A, and for an additional clarifier is all that money was spent on.
And I believe Mr. Harris has also replaced some rotors and things along the way. And I know this is an old World War II era plant. And
Right.
Mr. Sober is here from Dallas, and I guess we should listen to him as well.
I just want to point out one thing. Dr. Hashmi had the question about the acreage at the existing plant, and I believe Jeff is going to cover that in his presentation because they have developed a plan for us that will fit inside the current footprint of our existing acreage. So, but Jeff should cover that during his presentation.
The reason for that question was different, but I'll address it later.
All right.
Thank you, Superintendent. You're a very valuable employee for the city. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Honorable Council, thank you for the opportunity to be with you today and present to you the Garver team's general qualifications and approach to completing wastewater treatment plant projects. My name's Jeff Sober. I'm a Vice President and Principal of Garver. I'm right down the road in Frisco, and our team is excited to have been selected by your staff to help you as your consultant. Today, we're going to give you just a general overview of our approach of taking your plant and rehabilitating it to meet the future needs of the City of Paris. Our mission statement is that the Garver team will utilize a proven work plan to successfully design your wastewater treatment plant while focusing on phasing, funding, and simplifying the operations of the facility. The Garver team has the history, the expertise, and the experience to provide you the successful project that you need. Garver is a 95-year-old multiple discipline engineering firm that operates throughout the southeastern United States. We focus on treatment plant projects just like this. When proposing on this project, we looked for teaming members that provided significant and unique experience to help us put together the best team for the City of Paris. We chose to add to our team Friesen Nichols, who has over 120 years of engineering experience throughout the state of Texas, having completed hundreds of wastewater treatment plants along the way. We've also added Hayter Engineering, who brings critical local and historical knowledge of the City of Paris, but more importantly, the wastewater treatment plant. We believe these three engineering firms teamed together for this venture provides you the expertise that you need. Our local team has national experience. This graphic in front of you today represents that our team members have solved challenges of wastewater treatment facilities across the nation. We're able to bring you that large firm experience, but we do that with the local and regional client service approach. In fact, we have significant recent similar experience. This graphic, focused here on our region, indicates similar projects just like the one that we face at the City of Paris. These are logos representing clients where in the last 5 years we've done major wastewater treatment plant expansions or rehabs or regulatory challenges that we've solved. We are uniquely qualified to do this here for the City of Paris as well. Your project team has been hand-selected. As the Vice President and Principal of Garver, I will also serve as the project manager. I'll be reporting directly to Mr. Harris, as well as JP and his staff at the wastewater treatment plant. Serving alongside me will be two principals. David Jackson from Friesen Nichols, a principal with Friesen Nichols, and Mr. Reeves Hayter from Hayter Engineering. These two will serve in a technical advisory role, working alongside me through every step of the process and overseeing our team. In fact, this team is an incredible team of wastewater treatment plant specific engineers. We have over 28 project professionals that'll serve in some capacity. Combined together, these project professionals have over 600 years of experience and have completed over 790 wastewater treatment plants. What this means to you is you have a team that is ready with multiple discipline engineers focused on treatment plant projects to do this as efficiently and as effectively as possible. In proposing for this project, we put together a work plan. And our work plan is essentially our roadmap to get you from A to Z. This work plan is specific to the City of Paris, but includes general phases of projects, which you see on the left-hand side of your graphic. The steps of this project will include funding assistance, conceptual design, preliminary design, final design, bidding services, the construction phase, and a critical startup and commissioning phase. Our team is not just design engineers, we're also wastewater treatment plant operators and construction managers. We'll be here with you every step of the way to assist you in getting this facility up and online. The right-hand side of this graphic represents some detailed steps within the work plan, which is in our proposal. I'm only going to take a second here to step into some of the key ones that we're focused on now. We've already started the funding process by meeting with the Texas Water Development Board. In our proposal, we looked for multiple funding options for you. In the last few months, we've been working pro bono alongside your staff, meeting with the Water Development Board to identify funding options. And we focused in on the Texas Water Development Board, or TWD, Regional Planning Grant, and the Texas Water Development Board Clean Water State Revolving Fund, which I'll talk about those here now. I should point out that this is a successful team with acquiring funding. Within the last 10 years, our team has acquired over $500 million worth of funding for our municipal clients throughout Texas. We're putting together an application for the Texas Water Development Board Regional Facility Planning Grant. Again, we're doing this pro bono, working alongside your staff. What's important about this funding option is that it provides a 50% grant, essentially free money with a local match. It covers a feasibility study to get the project moving, and this money comes around a lot sooner than some of the other funding sources. So we're working towards applying for that. The other funding mechanism that we're working on right now is the Clean Water State Revolving Fund, which has the ability to fund the entire project. This can provide funding for the planning, acquisition, and construction phases of the project. We've already put together the project information form, which is due by March. We're turning it in early to get on the list so that we hope to make the intended use plan and submit a formal application by August. If all goes smoothly with the CWSRF, we could potentially see funding for this project by December of this year. We recommend a complete conceptual design to help you develop cost-saving alternatives. So after the funding assistance phase, the next phase would be the team working on conceptual design. Now, as part of our proposal, we identified some unique things that we believe provide value to the city of Paris. We would start this project off with a kickoff, which essentially allows our team to work closely with your team and get moving in the right direction. Moving into field investigations, where we put our discipline engineers, electrical, structural, mechanical, SCADA, and et cetera, on site, shadowing your operations and maintenance staff. We know the value that JP and his team bring to the table, that they know that plant inside and out, and we need to acquire as much of that knowledge as possible and work in a collaborative environment with the operations and maintenance staff. Alongside those field investigations, we'll be doing flow projections and data acquisition. We'll be taking extra samples so that we can appropriately size this facility. And armed with all that information, we'll then approach the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, or TCEQ, to ask for smart variances. This is a unique step of our process. We believe that in doing so, we can potentially minimize the cost of the facility. What I mean by that is TCEQ essentially has a cookbook, a one-size-fits-all approach to designing wastewater treatment plants. Armed with historical data and knowledge of your facility, we can request smart variances to potentially reduce the capital cost. Once we do all this, we'll be working alongside your staff, delivering this conceptual design throughout our process. What we recommend is that we move forward as soon as y'all are ready with an updated engineering feasibility study. Give you a snapshot of just a couple things about our technical approach. We use 3D design. As you can see here, this is an overview of your existing wastewater treatment plant within our BIMS model. When looking at your technical approach, we wanted to focus on specific goals that we think are important to the city of Paris. First and foremost, we want to give you a tried and true reliable process, meaning we don't want to put you on the bleeding edge of technology. We want to give you something that's optimized and efficient. We want to make sure that we utilize existing infrastructure wherever possible. So if we can utilize an existing basin, an existing building, and save capital expenditure, we will do just that. We want to, I'll have to remember what this says. We want to plan for future regulatory requirements. Essentially, we know that TCEQ and EPA are working together to put nutrient limits on cities just like Paris. We want to plan for that so that into the future, you have phasing capabilities to meet those nutrient regulations and that you're not blindsided by those. We'd also like to work within the existing footprint. As JP mentioned in the Q&A a second ago, if we can provide you a facility within your existing footprint, there's a possibility to greatly reduce the cost and timeline associated with the project. And finally, most important to our technical approach is we want to build what's needed when needed. We don't want to oversize this facility. We want to give you exactly what you need to meet the needs of your community now and phase it into the future where necessary for the economic growth and development of Paris. I'll finish with just the discussion on the phasing approach and a snapshot of what it might look like in the future. We've developed a three-phase approach to reduce spending on this project. Phase 1, which we would recommend beginning as soon as you see fit, is to address immediate needs of the facility, those condition and rehabilitation needs that JP just spoke of. We would recommend designing and constructing improvements to meet those needs now. Phase 2, we would be able to phase in those nutrient regulations or other TCEQ regulations which we know are coming down the pipeline. And phase 3 would be the potential expansion of the facility, if necessary, based on load and flow projections into the future. What might this look like? Again, here's your existing facility. In our proposal phase, we've developed multiple concepts. All of these concepts will be reviewed and analyzed alongside your staff, but a potential concept was to build a robust activated sludge process to the south of the existing facility. And as mentioned, we've even worked out the construction sequencing to be able to give you that same robust process within your existing footprint as well. Again, these are just two of many options we've come up with, and these options will be working with your staff along the way to find the right fit for Paris. Thank you for your time today, and that is the end of my presentation.
Any questions from the council? Mr. Sober? AJ?
My first question to you is, you said that determine the future needs. How did you determine the future needs for the city of Paris, and what are the future needs?
Dr. Hashmi, allow me to clarify. We have not yet determined the future needs for the city of Paris. What we intend to do during that conceptual design phase is work closely with our team members like Hader, who has the historical perspective, more importantly, your staff who has the knowledge of the facility. In doing so, we'll be doing load and flow projections, identifying what potential growth is estimated based on Texas Water Development Board for the city of Paris, based on your plans for economic growth with industry within the town, and using that as our basis for designing and appropriately sizing this facility.
My next question is, have you discussed this, whatever you've designed, with the city planner?
I'm sorry.
Have you discussed this project with the city planner, who's doing other things and planning other parts of the city?
We haven't, no. The answer to that question is no. We anticipate that that collaboration of the entire staff within the city of Paris would happen during our conceptual engineering phase.
Okay. If you can go to your third or fourth slide, please, where it's the clear water something.
We'll back up here.
Where it says funding by the Clearwater something something.
Funding?
Yeah.
This was the funding slide. This was the intro to the funding. And
Go
the next
forward.
slide focused on...
You know where the slide is about Clean Water State Revolving Fund?
Yes, sir. That is right here.
Okay. Now you said that this authority can fund the entire project?
The Texas Water Development Board, through the Clean Water State Revolving Fund, if we make the application and get on their intended use plan, they will provide funding for planning, design, and construction of the facility. So it has the ability to fund the entire project.
Okay. When they fund the project, what kind of controls do they exercise on us? Do they control our water in any way or form?
There are some requirements. They do not necessarily exercise control, but there are some requirements that we have to meet during the design and planning phase. This is a long-term, low-interest loan, and some of the requirements is that you have to have an updated water conservation and drought contingency plan, which I believe Mr. Harris has already has some of that in effect. We would update it and submit it to the state. That's their major requirement.
But once the plant is finished, they're done.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Have you, while designing this, have you thought about that if we wanted to catch the effluent, which is 4 million gallons of water a day, to conserve that and save it in a lake or do something with it instead of just dumping it down the stream? Do you have a facility or land available at that site to build a lake to pour the effluent water into it?
As part of our proposed work plan, We do anticipate looking at the potential for water reuse. So to answer your question, that is on our agenda to evaluate when we move into a conceptual design phase. That design has not been done yet. I will state that the team that we've put together is leading water reuse throughout the southeast United States right now.
But is there enough land there to do it?
For-
I mean, you're suggesting the same site, and so that's why I was asking, is there surrounding land that can be acquired to build a conservation pond or something that can store large amounts of water? Do we have enough space there?
The answer to that question is the site is large enough based on the knowledge we have today to handle the technical aspects of the treatment of that reuse water. We would look for off-site storage such as Lake Crook or another water body. That's part of a detailed planning phase to identify what those options are.
Can I ask a question of Mr. Hayter?
Yes, but I was just going to point out that we don't have a contract yet with his farm, so a lot of things that we're asking, they're still working for free right now.
I realize that. But the thing about it is when we eventually plan.
Want to know that. Sure, go ahead and ask Mr. Hayter.
Mr. Hayter, the amount of water, the effluent that comes out, do you think there is surrounding land there that we can acquire or do something with at the same spot so that the water is not wasted in future?
When we did the master water plan, the Pat Mays and the Lake Crook study a few years back, we had the select committee on that. The consultants at that time looked at reusing that water, and they talked about building a low water dam on Pine Creek, just down from Hicks Creek. Now that's not exactly at the plant site, but it's in that same area. And they were going to recapture that water, and then at some point when it's cost effective, it could be pumped back either into Lake Crook or more likely into Pat Mays.
Okay. And last question that I have is, are there any kind of newer innovations in wastewater treatment plants that make them smell-free, or what is new in wastewater treatment plants? Or is it the same as what it has been?
So there are constant technological innovations in the treatment of wastewater, which we will analyze and consider all of those. Unfortunately, there is no silver bullet to making wastewater not smell like wastewater, but there are multiple ways of doing odor control, which we will evaluate along with your staff.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I ask one?
Edwin, you want to just do it in order? Edwin? No. You go ahead.
No.
What is the appetite by the Texas Water Development Board to fund these kind of projects? and not, you've mentioned grants and you've mentioned low interest loans. I like the grants obviously a lot more than we do the low interest loans. What is the appetite for them to do those kind of things?
Great question. So, Mr. Pickle, the grants, as you imagine, are much more competitive. There's a lot of entities trying to apply and acquire those grants. What we've done as part of our services to date, not under contract, is actually go down to Austin and meet with the Texas Water Development Board. Friesen Nichols with Mr. Jackson has a long history of working with them and acquiring and working through these grants. When we did that, we identified one of the grants, the regional planning grant, which we believe we would be most competitive at. And so our focus now is to get that application in as soon as possible, which we will do within the next few weeks, to get on the list. It becomes a first come, first serve. In regards to the CWSRF, that is a loan program. The state has, there's two buckets of money, state money and federal money. There is usually ample money available to fund these type of projects. This project that we're looking at here with the City of Paris would be high on their priority list, and we do believe that we can acquire the funding through them for this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Typically, how long are those loans paid off or more amortized?
They have 20-year and 30-year options.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Plata.
When a new plant is built like this stuff, with the new innovations, new things, does it require less manpower than what is currently on right now, or do they keep the same thing?
I'll answer that question in two parts. The question, I believe, was, does a newer facility require less manpower because it's technology? There's been an advancement in technology. The answer to that is that process by process, that can potentially be the case. If you were to change out a filtration process with a new filter process, it might have less man-hour requirements than the old process. But in a whole, what we see with these facilities, especially with the continued advancement in regulations from TCEQ, is that more processes are required and necessary, which either leaves the manpower estimate the same or actually increases the need. So it becomes a trade-off. As part of our process, we look at life cycle costs. So we will plan for and do an opinion of capital costs. We will also do a life cycle cost, taking into account the operations necessary, the maintenance necessary, chemical and electrical usage, and provide you with that so you have the ability to plan appropriately for the future.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Ms. Lancaster? Question? Mr. Jenkins?
I have no questions, but I appreciate your
Thank you, sir.
information.
I guess your firm has reviewed and is familiar with the Hayter engineering study that Mr. Hayter referred to a few minutes ago. How long ago was that done? 5, 6 years? 2010. Okay, so it's pretty recent. And at that time, the team explored the options of satellite plant, perhaps one built to the south with gravity flow, and it was still determined that the better effort is, even though we have to pump uphill from a lot of our lift stations, that was still the best location, and that opinion has not apparently changed since that time.
Not at this stage. In fact, we do anticipate looking at that again through the conceptual design and updating those numbers. The Hayter report is an excellent foundation for us to begin, so we're not reinventing the wheel, but we will run those numbers. It should be stated that you have an existing discharge permit at that location, that you have, it already exists. And acquiring and obtaining new discharge permits is a very lengthy and costly process, and that alone could be the reason to maintain that site. But we will look at that and report on that in the feasibility update.
Okay, thank you.
Can I
Does
ask
anyone,
one question?
go ahead.
So you will also look at other alternatives besides simply using the wastewater treatment plant we have currently?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Our focus is to find you the lowest cost alternative and to present those options to you for your review.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
I have 2 other questions too.
Sure, go ahead.
Are you involved in the construction of the plant or just the design phasing?
During the construction phase, that we will put together a set of documents, drawings and specifications, which will be bid, and we'll have contractors bid on that, and a contractor will be selected, and you will enter into a contract with a general contractor to build the plant. During that time, your design team, the Garver team with Friesen Nichols and Hayter, will be there to provide construction-related services. This would be construction administration and construction observation, where we will have staff overseeing, not necessarily overseeing the contractor, observing the contractor and noting along the way that they are following the design and the intent of the design.
I have one other question. Are you familiar or have you done any designing in cities where the wastewater treatment plants are either solar powered or wind powered?
We've done a significant amount of work recently on just working towards getting plants a reduced footprint, either off the energy grid, which has included an evaluation of wind and solar power. Yes.
And when you do that for Paris, will you think of trying those methods of trying solar energy or wind or something?
Absolutely. Again, the great thing about a feasibility study is the idea there is to develop all the potential alternatives, gather the wish list of the city, and work towards analyzing those alternatives to find the most cost-effective option. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. If there is no further questions, anyone, Doug, would you like to make any final comments, or?
Only thing, Dr. Gross-Nickel, I would say is that we're very pleased with our selection of Garver USA, especially with their partnering with Freese and Nichols and Hayter Engineering, and we're very confident and comfortable with this selection.
And might I ask, Mr. Godwin, when will this become an action item to approve that contract?
It'll be a few more months. You'll see it several more times. It's a big project, and so we're just trying to get you introduced to the idea and introduced to our preferred vendor.
Okay.
I have one other thing to say. Since Mr. Pickle's bothering me, you just came from the wrong university.
Thank you, Council.
All right. Then, moving forward, Janice, item 15.
Item 14, discuss and act on the creation of a dog park and receive presentation by Dr. Hashmi.
Dr. Gross-Nickel wants to omit that and
No,
skip.
no, I didn't. It was a.
I thought
my
you
eye
said
jumped.
15.
I'm sorry. No.
I'm not offended, don't worry.
Okay.
I have a few slides that I'd want to read first, and then I'll tell you what some of my thoughts are. As mentioned in the City of Paris Park Plan, I wanted to, the issue for discussion amongst the community members and the members of the council on the pros and cons of a dog park for the City of Paris. Today we will first discuss the pros and cons of this, and then I will give a brief summary of the potential sites, financial feasibility of such a park, short and long term, and then in the next council meeting, I think it would be nice to hear from the public on their opinion, as from the residents, what their views are on the feasibility of this. So just going over a few things of the pros and cons, there are some advantages that I've listed. Advantages are for the dog socialization, advantages are excellent source of dog social interaction, excellent source for people social interaction. Then it's an excellent source for people social interaction. Dog-oriented people can meet and interact, and doggy play dates can be arranged. Dog parks allow dogs to get adequate physical and mental exercise, thereby lessening destructive and annoying behavior in general, which can benefit the society as a whole. There are some educational advantages. It's a good opportunity for owners to learn about the dogs through observation and provide the opportunity to learn from more experienced owners. Opportunity for well-mannered dog advocates to demonstrate how they turn their dogs into well-mannered dogs. So basically, it becomes a community resource and service by the city for its residents. The other certain community advantages are dog parks, which are designed for dogs only, lessen the chances of the owners letting their dogs off the leash in on-leash parks. There are no cars, rollerbladers, skateboarders, and bikers which are likely to be encountered, and more likely to encounter people who enjoy dogs, and could provide a community location for community dog activities. There are certain disadvantages. First of all, for the people, potential of danger from aggressive dogs, potential of danger of physical injury from dog-related hazards, potential of lawsuits arising from dog fights, and potential for parasites. For the dogs, potential of danger, again, from aggressive dogs, potential for parasites, and potential for lack of impulse control and overexcitement on part of dogs, not appropriate to have small and large dogs in the same park, and the potential for injury. There's some community issues. Some people will not understand the concept and will abuse the park, won't pick up after their dogs, may leave the dogs unattended, and allow their dogs to indulge in inappropriate behavior. Some people will not be educated enough about their dogs to know if the dog park is a suitable place for them, potential of noise, and again, potential of liability issues. Then there are some financial concerns. It could be a source of concern to some residents since it seems more like a luxury than a necessity, particularly in hard financial times when cost-cutting measures are being done. People do not have jobs, and it seems that we are wanting to spend money on a dog park. It may require hiring of new employees for management, cleaning crew, etc. And I'm going to ask Mr. Godwin about some of those. The recurring cost of maintenance and the building costs. Next, please. We thought of potential sites, as I and Mr. Godwin were discussing initially. There was some land adjacent to the city pool. There was a site, new site close to the new AMT station. Some of it was tax foreclosed properties, city-owned land, and then I think somebody from the Parks Department, are they here? Nobody from the Parks Department?
Jerry's here.
Yeah. We have 2 parks right now which allow dogs, right? The Dragon Park, and there's one other park where dogs are allowed. I'm not sure what the other park was. Okay. And one should also consider that those are potential sites where we already allow dogs, and maybe we could have a separate area where it could be made more into a dog park. Then the other thing that I was concerned about after when Mr. Godwin will present the expense involved in it is it's not only just the expense of building the park, but it's a question of maintenance of that park. Regular cleanup would be required, maintenance of the fencing would be required, mowing of the yard would be required. And so I thought that maybe in the next meeting when we could have some people who can come up with ideas of either developing a dog lover fund where people can contribute. It may be a tax exempt organization or a tax exempt fund that can be created where you can give money into it which could be used for maintenance of that park. And maybe also develop a dog lovers group where volunteers can be used for the purposes instead of hiring more city employees. So those were some of my thoughts. Mr. Godwin is going to tell us exactly how much does it cost, what kind of costs we are looking at, and what is the maintenance cost, etc. We'll discuss it further.
Okay, of course, these would be very rough costs because it depends on how big it is, but we came up with an area that's a bit over an acre, maybe an acre and a quarter, maybe bigger, maybe smaller, but that's just kind of a size. And that's a size that would fit at the swimming pool, for example, which is where we were looking first. That would be about 1,000 feet of fence, so that's about $12,000 counting gates. You'd want to have like you do in a store where you have 2 sets of doors so dogs don't get loose on you. Or if you go in an aviary at the zoo, you've always got that extra set of doors, so extra gates and so forth. It makes it a little bit more expensive, but about $12,000 altogether for the fencing and for the gates and so forth. And then about that much more for some other features that you could, some of which you would want to do right away, and some of which you'd want to maybe add later. You could add later. Some benches, 3 or 4 benches, so that people have got an opportunity to sit down. It's always good if they're out there playing with their dogs, but some people aren't going to want to do that, so some people are going to want to sit on a bench. We should soil test. Again, talking about health hazards for dogs. We don't want dogs to go out there and get sick on our place at our invitation. It's also good to have a drinking fountain and they make them. I don't know if some of you have maybe seen them, but they make them where there's a place for the humans and the dogs on the same drinking fountain. It even has a hose bib, all in one feature. So those are really nice for a dog park, and they make them for dog parks and other parks. Other people have them in just regular parks, but they're really serve that purpose. You want to have a pickup station. Some people won't use those, so you'll still have to have Jerry or somebody out there with a bucket and a shovel. But to the extent that you can get people to take care of that themselves, that really reduces maintenance time out there. And in a lot of cities where these have been successful, and they've been very successful, very popular in a lot of places, people really kind of take a sense of ownership of them too, because they're recurring customers. And they are really good about cleaning up after themselves. You've always got a few people that aren't going to. But you've got folks that really the dog park people really want to take care of their park, just like people like to take care of their own neighborhood parks. So anyway, that adds up to maybe $25,000, and some of that depends on how big it is, depends on how many extra little amenities and so forth you want to do. Some of those almost all of those are one-time costs. Maintenance is fairly low. You need to mow the grass from time to time, and you need to clean up from time to time, and then of course minor repairs. So the good part of that is the maintenance costs, operating costs are very, very low once you get it established. And as you said, there are numerous locations that we own land already that would work very well.
If I can talk to the city planner for just a second. Mr. Frassi, what is your thoughts of, dog parks? Have you designed them before? Have you put them in the cities before?
Oh.
Do people like them? What is your general opinion about it?
Okay, let the record show that we didn't rehearse this. Okay, I think they're good ideas. Without sounding trite, the comments that you made and the recommendations made by Mr. Godwin are all supportable and make sense. The concept of dog parks really originated in larger cities. I think they're a good idea. That's a bottom line. But there are issues and opportunities, and I think most of them have already been addressed by you and Mr. Godwin. To put them in a larger context, they were generated first in larger American cities, first in Europe about 40 years ago, particularly Chicago and Minneapolis. And one of the issues was in downtown areas where they had large structures, hotels, apartment buildings, multi-stories, where you have hundreds if not thousands of people walking along corridors and walking their dogs, concrete corridors, and they were messing up these walkability areas and shopping areas. So what they did was include, coming down to the Paris scale, in park areas or areas owned by the city, also strategically located so that as many people as possible in the city, regardless of its size, will not have to travel a very long distance with their dog. That's an important factor, strategic location. And as an aside, I don't think we have that problem here, but we could look at it. They would have in between corridors of multi-story apartment buildings, corridors that are off the street and even between hotels in these larger cities. So basically it's a good idea. As far as design is concerned, I have had preliminary involvement in designing, but if you do design them, you have to include the comments that you and Mr. Godwin made in terms of pros and cons. That's my immediate response, sir.
Now, you said that it's a good idea, but we are not a big city and there are no tall buildings around here. Do you still feel that there could be a need, or is it just something that, is it a luxury or?
No, I don't think it's a luxury. That's my opinion. I don't think it's a luxury. It amplifies the opportunity to have dogs and their property owners be able to have a greater advantage and support for dogs. As a matter of fact, a year and a half ago, when we had citizen involvement, we did have several people talking about a dog park. This is the first I heard of it. In fact, what I was going to do was look at the park master plan and see if there were any citizen comments that we had with regard to dog park. But there were not a lot, maybe 4 or 5 people out of maybe 60 or 70 who made some comments about wishing we had some dog park opportunities in Paris. So this is not a new issue.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I want to hear what the other council people think.
Okay. Edwin?
Well, I would suggest that people go to, it's called North Park in Frisco. And they there's a website there that shows what they've done. And I think it's on 2 acres, a little over 2 acres of land. It's one place it says 5, one it says 2, and it's heavily used. I've had to listen to it for the past 6 or 7 months from my son when he comes back from Frisco because he wants to take his dog to a dog park, and I want him to get it out of my backyard. So I think that'd be great. I think that that the area by the swimming pool would be an excellent place to put it, partly because of the usage that area does not get for 9 months out of the year, as far as parking and things like that, because you need parking for these things. And most people during the summer heat would not be out walking their dogs, but people would use the swimming pool. So the parking spaces would be utilized by people at the pool during the summer, but the rest of the time, people could park there and carry their dogs to the but between the pool and the loop, and allow their dogs to run there. The way they do it in Frisco is they've got a small dog area and then a dog area. So small dogs can go in with large dogs, or they can just go into a small dog area. They are split out like that. They've got a lake and all that stuff, which would be great, but all it takes is money. But I think that I like the idea of the city doing it. I think that we've got the land. Probably to do it right, we would need to do the fencing, but I would like to see the community come up with the features, whatever those are, as far as being able to fund those, because that would give them, those owners, or those dog owners, a sense of ownership on the park itself, and I think it would help them maintain it. I've talked to some people here that have large dogs that would love the opportunity to take them to that. But again, look at the one in Frisco if you want to see how that they're utilized and how neat they are.
I think there's one closer to Greenville, right? Greenville has one that's very popular too, and it's a little more like
well, my
us.
son used the
Closer, so yeah, there just happens to be one in Greenville.
North Bark, so.
Anyone else? Benny? Mr. Plata?
Well, I agree with what Edwin says. You know, I think it'd be pretty. I just don't agree with putting on another employee or not just for that. I have to agree with him about getting more dog owners' input, and that way they'd be have more ownership in it. I agree with it.
Yeah, they might help police the people who don't pick up after themselves and not be afraid to speak up, you know.
Exactly.
Ms. Lancaster?
I like the idea. I've seen some very successful dog parks. I think it would be a good addition.
Mr. Jenkins?
I like the idea. One question, could you use it for dog shows, anything like that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
I had a question. Is it common for cities of our general size? Greenville is, I presume, even though they're on the interstate.
You know, I'm not really sure how common it is because it's a fairly new thing in Texas. It's becoming more common. I don't know if it's in 10% of the cities or 20% of cities, but used to it was a really rare thing. A few people did it. It was kind of an oddity, or a novelty. But it's becoming more and more common because almost everybody that's tried them has had success with them. There's been a few failures for different reasons, yeah, I think we wouldn't be. Certainly, we're not going to be an outlier or anything like that if we have a dog park. They're quite common.
I had some concerns about the site at the swimming pool, just with the children and the safety. Some people don't use leashes, no matter how big their dog is, and that part of the location kind of bothers me. I realize once they're in the fenced area, hopefully that would not be an issue. But with kids walking or riding their bikes to the swimming pool in the summer. But I agree that Edwin's, the theory of the parking and the usage being minimal for maybe 3/4 of the year. So it could work. I just have some concerns there. Also, I would like it to hopefully not cost much money, because I think we also don't want to forget our animal control department and the city pound, and try to continue funding it so that they can continue their excellent progress in lowering the euthanasia rate, and also to make the pound smell and be more sanitary. And that's a constant battle. I know that Chief Hunley and his officers have done a really good job with that. So, increased funding for that, and even the low-cost spay and neuter. So I don't want those, issues to go away, because they're not. But the dog park might work. We should seek citizen input, and we can add it back to next agenda, I suppose, and have a citizens forum, and all the dog lovers in town can come and voice their.
I think we should put it for the next agenda for people to come forward if they have interest in it. and to see if we can get funding sources, even for that amount of money, to see if people would be willing to contribute, even if that means creating a tax exempt, organization where they can donate money to that. But certainly, I think it should be maintained by the citizens. I think we should provide the land, but if it can be done by a citizens committee, I think that would be a far better. As everybody has said, there will be ownership into it, and there will be more responsibility, and the city will not have recurring costs of it. So.
I don't think you'll need to create another 501c3.
Oh, the city itself?
Because the Lamar County Humane Association is already set up that way, and you can
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, or even keep that as beautiful. That's part of keeping, maybe. You wanted it for your son, so let's.
Yeah, but I don't want PB to mess with it.
Well, it's probable that fertilizer costs will be low at this point, so we can save on that. So
maybe
I guess
we could put it in
if we're done with this tonight, we can go to item 15, Janice.
Convene into executive session pursuant to Section 551071 of the Texas Government Code, consultation with attorney to receive legal advice from the city attorney about pending and contemplating litigation and/or on matters in which the duty of an attorney to his client under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflict with this chapter as follows. Paris Warehouse 107, Inc., Tax Abatement Agreement. If you'll state the time, please.
The time is, according to mine, 6:35.
Thank you.
The time is now 6:51. We concluded the closed session at approximately 6:50, and we are now back in open session. And during that discussion, session, we had a discussion in which we asked, once again, Mr. McKillier to send a demand letter asking Paris Warehouse 107 to rebate taxes owed to the city for being slightly under the job creation numbers that were guaranteed to receive the tax abatement. And so can we get a motion to...
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Second.
And all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Okay. The motion passes. So, number 17, do we have any future events for city council or city staff to discuss or?
I'm not aware of
All right.
any.
All right. So, need a motion on number 18?
So moved.
Seconded by Mr. Plata. All in favor? Aye.
And we're still meeting on the 16th also, right?
Yes.